I need a theme song. I need a theme song. Ooh, yeah. Hey, it's CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City. Across the Red River, yay, beautiful Bossier City. Come check us out. This is just a painting I did. And that's what the view really looks like through the window. And I've taken a lot of liberties. And there are some liberties that should not be taken, of course, in this. Now, in a way, you can do what you want to do with this, but what I want to do is I want to take this roux. This is about three. It's about three good tablespoons of flour, and just enough in it. And I actually put this. I put this in the oil, which is a just a regular vegetable oil. You know, generic's fine. And I got to this consistency. But I stirred them together before I turned on the heat. Then I turned on the heat of this nonstick pan to about to medium, and just gradually just watching this. And you want to let this cook. You really want to stir it. You have to kind of watch it. Give it a good stir every moment or so. Don't run off and leave it. Stay with it. This, to get to this level of enriching color, it takes a good 15-20 minutes. I want to watch it for another 5 to 10 minutes because I really want this to get dark. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is directly to this. Sometimes I will add the Trinity, what we call the Trinity blend, celery, onion, bell peppers. Sometimes I will add that right in with the flour and right in with the oil, and I will stir everything together and let them work, because I'm working with a sauce that I'm going to build that's not really going to be that important. I'm going to add other things and other layers to the sauce, so it's not important that it be so perfected, just as long as they're there. But in this case, what I wanted to do is I wanted to cook the roux to get it as dark as I could. I want to bring it right up to that point, right before it burns. The caramelization, this starts out as a very light blonde sauce, and if you added milk to it, it would be a bechamel, but I'm not adding milk to it. I'm going to add vegetables and vegetable stock to it or anything like that or whatever. Basically, by use of two products, browning sauce in the form of kitchen bouquet. Now the browning is elemental. I really don't need it at this point because the sauce is going to be so brown. If I were working with the sauce that was lighter, yes, the browning sauce would come in and it would help the browning part of it, because this is a very concentrated caramel color and it would work. But to that, the base is water, of course, vegetable base in concentrate, water, carrots, celery, cabbage, onion, parsley, turnips, and parsnips, and then some other sauces and sodium for freshness, preserving and everything, but less than 2% of that. This is something that will get added at some point. But for right now, when I get this right to where I want to, I'm just going to dump this half a cup of Trinity, which is celery, onion, and bell pepper. And I got a really good, you can get these chopped up. Now, sometimes you can get them chopped up, those chopped vegetables, and maybe there's carrots in there. Maybe there's this or that or whatever. This particular blend, and it's not labeled as Trinity, but I read what was in it. It is celery, onion, and peppers, and it's the bell pepper or what's in there, the different stages of the bell pepper. The lighter red, lighter yellowish red and green bell peppers. And so that's great. Green peppers are less mature, and then the more they lighten, the more mature they become. So that's great. But anyway, this is getting right to that point. I think with a little bit of patience, I actually can get this really, really dark. I can get this as dark as a Hershey's dark chocolate bar. Even as we watch, it's going to happen. That's where I want it to be. And the reason why I'm waiting, the reason why I waited before adding these, sometimes I'll dump all this in all at the same time because it's not so important that it be such a together sauce for what's going to happen. But this really is going to be the sauce. It's going to be the Espagnole sauce, which is one of the French mother sauces, which is a brown roux in broth and vegetables. And, and you either can add a little, it works great if you want to do a vegan and just totally leave out any kind of animal products at all. This would give you that really good effect, but this is not that case because I'm going to be putting this over a rice and hamburger steak, so it's okay. So look at how rich this is. As we pull some more of this from the bottom, what happens when I add this is it's going to instantly cool down the pot, and it's going to drastically slow down the browning that's going to happen. But I want it to get as brown as possible. And we're pretty good. And the reason why I want to is because what's going to thin it out, it's not really going to be a broth. I'm going to stir in a little bit of beef bouillon dissolved in some water. I'm going to dump this, and then I'm going to use the beef bouillon and water right in here at the same time. Meanwhile, the vegetables will be getting a little softened and cooked into this broth as I'm dissolving the water. Good way to do it, and I only get to use 1 cup, and yay. Okay. So that Maillard effect of caramelization, it is between about 325 to 375-ish, depending upon whatever it is that is intended to get brown or caramelized. I'm going to go ahead and dump this in. But it won't happen here. When you dump in cold and some vegetables that have broth and water and stuff into a hot pan, you're going to get steam. I should have had the fan going the whole time. Want all those vegetables in there. And yeah, it's gonna pull some moisture out of these vegetables too. Okay, at this point, I can reduce the heat. We'll call that, eyeball it, about 2 tablespoons of bouillon. I'm going to take a little tap water and just dissolve that. Of course, if you live in an area where your tap water is questionable, you want to use bottled water. Fortunately, we have okay water here. It probably could stand an improvement or two, but my development where I live is new. The pipes are new and everything like that, so we're getting clean water. Clean water means I don't mind using and cooking with tap, so just a little of that. As we get this stirred in together, but incorporated, I will be adding little bits of, a little bit at a time, probably by about half a cup at a time until I get where I want to get water from the tap. This basically just kind of smooths this out. Do you see how when I added those vegetables, instantly those vegetables pulled everything to the bits of vegetables and wanted to pull everything together and make clumps. Well, we want water. Now I've got to add more water to this because boy does it thicken quick. Hang on. So maybe about a cup at a time at this stage. Maybe one and another cup. And I'm just eyeballing these measurements. This is not something that has to be specific or precise. The water is going to pull this down, even though we've lowered the temperature to a, in the pot, we've lowered it to a simmer, to a simmering type of temperature, but we want to smooth this out. So for right now, I've turned the exhaust fan. We're just going to pull out the exhaust. I'm going to turn that down to its lowest setting. I'm glad I turned it up to high at first, and I'm sorry that I spoke over it, and I hope that it didn't drown out my voice too much. But really, just to catch you up, I put the vegetables into the roux. Instantly, those vegetables, even though they have their own fluids that they're going to disperse, they did pull like a sponge the water that was in the bottom of the pan and create steam. And the steam that came up from the heat, it was like these cold vegetables hit that heat. They started to pull up steam, and that started an effect where some of the other fluids in water released itself as steam also, because water will behave as neighboring water does. Water seeks its own level. As a matter of fact, it's like if you have two bits of water, and then you add if you change the alkalinity of one water by adding, say, a large bit of hydrogen peroxide to one body of water, and then you let them blend into each other, they will absorb they will become the same. That one water will act that was previously unadulterated from the hydrogen peroxide. It will act as if its alkalinity is changed. It will take on the alkalinity of the product that's with it. That's why when scientists are testing the alkalinity of products, if they're untestable, sometimes they'll dilute them in the water, and then they'll test the alkalinity of the how they're diluted into the water. And then what they'll do when they're finding their calculations on the alkalinity of the additive, what's been added to the water, they can subtract the alkalinity of the water, which is basically zero, neutral. They can figure that when they're finding the alkalinity of a product. They can sort of the behavior, how does the water affect the alkalinity. But basically, they can put it on the alkalinity scale, which is roughly, I think it's a scale of 1 to 14, or whatever, basically. Or basically 1 to 7 plus is on the alkaline side, and 1 to 7 in the negative from 0 is on the acidic side. But there's 14 stops along that way. I guess, I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I need to review. I suppose scientifically a person could come up with their own scientific scale, but there's a universal understanding of alkalinity. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the behavior of me adding these vegetables, and they just instantly, where there wasn't the water and the fluid that was in here before in this pan was not steamy. When I put those cold vegetables in, instant steam. And not only did the water in the vegetables steam, but also the water that was in the sauce, in the roux, from the combination of the oil and the vegetables and everything, any sort of moisture, that all instantly steamed, so. And it might have something to do with the fact that the vegetable oil and flour together did not really have water as an element, other than the fact that this is a vegetable oil. And let's see the ingredients of that. Now we know that water and oil does not mix, So, you know, soybean oil. That's what this is. So I don't know the amount of natural water that is created in a soybean. I don't know, but maybe that's it. Maybe there's actually no water. I mean, there must be, for some delusion. Otherwise, I don't know. But anyway, I need to find the chemistry behind that, because I'm interested, right? Why was my pot not steaming until I actually put the water in? Same temperature. Been slow bringing this to a slow simmer, but no. That roux toasted very well, and then I added, and this is good. At this point, this is good. If we didn't do anything else to it, it would be excellent. I did add the bouillon. So let me taste it before I figure out how much I'm going to add to it. When tasting a hot fluid like this, you want to dip in with a fresh spoon, but you also want to give it a blow on it. Give it a cool. If you're going to taste it, you know, don't just take hot liquid to your lips. You'll burn yourself. Oh, that's good. Very pleasant. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of this. It's a kitchen bouquet, and let me take the top off. And I'm going to pour the amount of kitchen bouquet that I'm going to use right into this bowl, which does not have to be a lot. That's more than sufficient. Then I'm going to dilute it with a little bit more water. Then I'm going to pour this diluted and stirred right into the pot there. And the same mixing spoon. Look at that, it's going to add even a richer color. That richer color is great. It's not necessarily needed because this was dark enough. What I added it for was for the other vegetables. There is, in the bottom of this pan, a little bit of goodness left. I'm going to dilute it a little more. I'm going to do that a couple of more times until there was nothing left in the bottom of that pan to pour in except for water. This is really great. Okay, for all intents and purposes moving forward, this is a perfect Espagnole sauce. For sampling, a very fresh spoon every time. I used, this was a brown handle, silver handle, but always if you're going to cook, especially with other people, you know, just and blow on it for coolness. That is delicious. Now, at this point, you can serve it as it is, and your guests can salt and pepper as they like. I'm going to add a touch of ground black pepper. That's an ingredient that I've not added here yet. I didn't even add it to the original roux. I wanted to wait and add it after. If this were ground peppercorn, or we were using a copious amount, that means a great amount of the black pepper, we might actually even go as far as to call this an au poivre, meaning that it is a French sauce, meaning with pepper. I usually do about 2 shakes, about like that. Stir them in. And this is not, there's not enough pepper in here that would constitute this being an au poivre sauce with pepper, meaning with peppercorn, ground peppercorn or something like that. It's not, there's not enough in here to constitute it. If we needed more sodium, we have options. Table salt, we could use MSG, which is a salt substitute with a lower amount of sodium. Third, I call it a handle. And here we go. I think it's about perfect. I will add, because I know that Mike likes the essence of salt. Now this is not a table salt. This is monosodium glutamate. The product is called Accents. And what this does is it acts as a salt substitute. It is chemically a salt. It is not sodium free, but it does have a lot less sodium than your traditional table salt, about half the amount. Want to stir this very well. Another spoon, fresh spoon for tasting. That is just about perfect. It does need just a smidge more. There we go. But I'm not even going to bother to taste it at this time, because there we go. That is perfect. This is your perfect Espagnole sauce. You can use larger chunks of vegetables if you're at home and you're chopping these things up yourself. And if you have the Trinity, celery, onion, and bell pepper. And then if you wanted to, you could have, if you didn't have the kitchen bouquet, but you wanted to do some other vegetables, you would just chop up some carrots into small little dices. You would dice these up. And, where's that ingredients list here? Yeah, cabbage, shred up some cabbage. Parsley, which is just a green herb that just adds a little. Turnips, parsnips, that type of stuff, I think I may actually add a little cilantro or something to this. Doesn't need it, but why the hell not, right? Actually, in lieu of cilantro, I'm going to add ground cumin, which is ground cumin seed, which is from the cilantro plant. Only about a good teaspoon, and I said teaspoon, only about a good teaspoon needed for this entire pot of that cumin. Okay, and then next I'm going to shake down a little bit of my special ingredient that I don't really tell people about. I'm not going to tell you about right now, but I like for that addition to be about a tablespoon. So about a teaspoon of the cumin and a tablespoon of the ingredient that's going to give this a really good little twist to it, so that you're not just tasting browned flour, real toasted flour. You're really getting a good sauce. Here is where you would add any bit of tomato product if you want to. Sometimes people like the acidity of that tomato. I'm not going to add it, but it wouldn't hurt if you had a little tomato base and you wanted to. It's perfectly fine. That changes it though. If it's just a little bit of a tomato, it changes it from the Espagnole sauce, and it's no longer a Espagnole sauce, and it becomes a type of other sauce that is tomato based. So you would want to maybe change your the terms that you're using when you're describing it to your guests or whatever. That you're taking it from a Espagnole to a tomato sauce, which actually is another French name. Hang on. So how very simple. that if I had started out, this would be like a blonde roux that I would have made a bechamel sauce if I had added milk to, but I did not, and I continued to go darker, which made it a velouté kind of sauce. All these little things here and there that I could add to it if I left the vegetables out but added the other seasonings. Then it would be a rich dark velouté sauce. But in the but I put the vegetables in, and we basically made this a vegetable based inside of the roux that changed it to a Espagnole sauce. And if I were to go a step further and to make this a tomato based sauce, adding a twang of tomato here and there to balance it probably wouldn't be enough to justify changing the name. But if I were to take a good 2 tablespoons or more of tomato paste, or that significantly changed it, then it would become a tomate sauce. Tomate, Tomat, and that is a French mother sauce in a category all its own. So there we go. We've gotten a roux made with milk, and actually, not all French bechamels, which is a cream sauce, will have a roux. Sometimes you can have a bechamel, which is a cream sauce, or you take like cream cheese and melt it down, and then you add maybe some milk or cream to it, or other. You just soften it and stir it and make it pourable. That is a bechamel sauce, a cream-based sauce that requires no roux whatsoever. So, but if you want to make like your country gravy, before you did anything to it, you would have you'd be working with your cream sauce, which is the bechamel, which is a cream-based sauce, and then there's a whole family of sauces that spin off from that. Again, not all tomato or tomate sauces will have a roux base. Not, if this did not have a roux, but maybe I were to take the vegetables and make it a vegetable-based sauce, maybe use hot water and then the kitchen bouquet and kind of bring those together. And maybe for thickening agent, use a touch of cornstarch or any of the other methods, gelatin, any sort of aspecting quality or whatever, just a thicken whatever. Then I could have an Espagnole or a vegetable sauce, I should say, without a roux. But most traditionally, to be honest with you, you have a roux, which is basically your flour and your fat product, butter, right? Margarine, oils, olive oils, anything like that. But your fat, it's that combination of fats and flour that brown together to give us the roux that we build all these sauces off of. Okay, so this is here, and it's going to be quite simmering. This is one of these things that the longer that it marries together, the better it is. The more together the flavors come, and then it will unfold in layers upon the palate. Oh wow, there's this particular flavor, and oh wow, I can taste this particular. It's almost like Violet Beauregarde eating the gum that gave her the roast beef meal, which she could taste each course of the meal. Well, a good sauce can be like that, where, oh my God, I can pick up this part I can pick up this part. Now, one of the things that I love to do is I love to add a little bit of heat, a little bit of red pepper, a little bit of something to bite you back. And my good friend Mike is less on that heat type of spice. So there's no additional red pepper or cayenne. You may know that I did not add that, whereas when I do a lot of cooking, I really do. Tonight we're not going to do that because I'm cooking for a friend who likes, he wouldn't mind a little bit of a heat or something like that, but he prefers the traditional smoother flavors of a Dalmatian meal. That's salt and black pepper. And instead of salt, we're going healthier with this accent, which deliciously wakes up flavor in the same way that table salt will do. And I didn't want to let this video go or end without me double checking that accent sodium content. And it is about 2/3 less the content of your traditional ionized table salt, you know. So, and it yields wonderful, wonderful, flavorful results, you know. There you go. You can use it in combination with salt that's in a lot of other products. If you're making a sauce with the seasoning blends that have salt, then you can adjust and you can use that MSG to combine with the salts that's already prevalent in those seasoning blends. I didn't use a seasoning blend that already had that. The one product that I did use has less than 2% of the salt, and that's in the kitchen bouquet. And there were none in the vegetables that I added, and I did use the flour that I used was a all-purpose flour instead of self-rising. Self-rising flour does have sodium or a salt added, but all-purpose flour does not. Okay, here we are. I'm just going to let this slow simmer, but it's basically done. And love and might, and look for the third part of the video where I cook the meat and the rice. That's not till later. Bye.